stop cheating, you better get right, or you're gonna stop burning. You better get right, you better stop knowing, you better not fight, you better stop judging, you better not strike, you better stop cheating, you better get right, or you're gonna stop burning. You better get right, better stop knowing, you better not fight, and you better stop judging, you better not strike, better stop cheating, you better get right, or you're gonna stop burning. Ooh, you're gonna stop burning. Gonna stop burning.
Own Josh Blackburn on K4CO. That was Rivertown. And welcome to K4CO. We actually happen to be joined by Josh Blackburn in studio today. Thank you for being here, Josh.
You're
welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad we finally did this. We've been waiting for a while to
Well, I'm glad to be in
get
here.
you in here.
Yeah.
The first time we got together, we had you on Great Day, Colorado, Channel 2's Great Day, Colorado.
Thank you for having me on that.
You
That was-
bet. And you did an excellent job on there, too. So I'm glad that we finally got you in here, get you to know you a little bit more. Are you from Colorado? Are you Colorado native?
No, I'm from Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay. How long have you been here?
I think we moved here in 04.
Okay. So
No,
about
04.
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years. I think. Yeah, I just thought about that the other day. I was like, holy mackerel.
Already. Yeah.
20 years.
Have you been playing those 20 years in Colorado?
For the most part. When I first moved into town, I kind of had to start basically, from the bottom, open mic nights and get my name back out there and
So
start over.
You were doing this in Mississippi as well.
Well, actually, I graduated from Ole Miss, moved to Nashville, Colorado, Nashville, Tennessee. I wasn't playing there. Just worked for an internet tech. It's right when T1 cable internet came out, and I was one of those guys on the phones that got yelled at a lot.
Right.
So because their internet was down, and
it was all your fault.
And it was all my fault, and so I would ping a lot of computers, and then at the end of the days, I would go home, and it was a horrible job. So I would release tension by going to music stores and playing music, and I got approached by a recruiter for Disney Cruise Line said, "Do you want to go play guitar on ships in a band?" And I was like, "How much does it pay?" And they were like, "It pays this much." And I was like, "Well, that's more than I was making at
getting yelled at."
So I was like, "Yes."
How long did you do that for?
2 months.
Oh, okay.
It was just a really short stint. It was a lot of fun. And I got back. I think I was actually in Port Canaveral, and I was on the phone with my mother, and I just told her, "This is what I'm going to do." And I got home. I went to work for Mars Music in Nashville, and just selling guitars. And then I got picked up by a songwriter named Greg Barnhill and his band, and we played one show in this band in Destin, Florida, and the guy who did sound for us told me, he was like, "Look, I'm getting a band together in Destin, and I want to know if you would like to come to Destin and be our guitar player." And I used to go to Destin for vacations in the summer when I was growing up. And so I was like, do I want to move to Destin where I vacation and live here, play guitar? And I was like, how much do I make doing that? And he told me that, and it was more than I made at Mars Music. And I was like, yes.
So you just kept kind of moving up, surrounding yourself with music.
And that was not the intention. Like, my intention, I graduated with a marketing degree in 2000 from Ole Miss, and I was just going to figure out what the hell I wanted to do with my life at that point.
Right.
And I didn't know. The market wasn't good. Job market was really bad. And I just kind of fell into it. And I guess it was just what was meant to be. And so I did that in Destin, met a girl, fell in love. And then we decided, her family lived in Casper. And I was like, well, she said, we're not moving to Casper. It's too windy. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, what about Denver? Denver would be a great market. And Denver's big. In Destin, it was great. It was a lot of fun. Tons of amazing musicians played there. And I was very lucky to play with these people. And I learned so much. But it's a small pond. So you get to the point where that's what you do. That's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to do. And I just felt like I needed to do more than that. You know, I wanted to go out and play places where a lot of people see me that have never seen me before, just by going and playing in a different area. So Denver was a great place for that, because I could play in Fort Collins. I could play, Golden, Parker,
Boulder,
Boulder,
any of our sprawling.
anywhere.
Yeah.
And so it's just, it's been a great opportunity to come out here and play.
When in life did you have the sense of becoming a musician? Was it at a young age?
Yeah. I was definitely drawn to music even as a kid, very toddler, like just banging on pianos. And
was there music in the house?
Not really.
No.
I mean, my mom and dad were big into music, and they would jam out to their records and turn up the music really loud.
So is that how you kind of develop your ear?
Maybe
listening to their music at a young age, or just banging on a piano and pots and pans.
It was on a whim that I decided to start playing guitar. I was just like, I think I want to play guitar.
Self-taught.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how?
I had 2 lessons. I got some free lessons with the guitar my mom and dad bought, and I used those lessons. And I went in and for those 2 lessons, and that was it. And then after that, I kind of just would listen to music and play to
your favorite records. And all that. Yeah.
The Pink Floyd The Wall was the one that really, I think I learned that whole album front to back.
Right. That was my next question. As far as influences,
Gilmore.
The Wall, Gilmore, great bluesy guitars, great sound,
Gilmore
great tone.
He was approachable.
Yeah.
He wasn't like listening to Eric Johnson or like Vi or
Eddie.
or
wasn't
any of those
fast
guys. It's
and
like,
flashy.
well, that's really hard.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. It was just, I guess I'm kind of I don't have a lot of, I don't know. I don't think of myself as being good at anything. So like, I felt like if I do that guy,
Somewhere in the middle,
whereas like he just plays by feel, I think I can do that.
Yeah. And is that how you play now? You would say you just kind of
Play by feel?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But through the years, I've grown to love different artists, and like I think Jeff Beck was kind of like my turning point of technicality with skill. He was the guy that I was like, oh my God, this guy, I'd never heard anybody like him. He was so innovative. It wasn't tapping. It wasn't some technical skill. It wasn't something like that. It was taking a guitar and being like, I'm going to make it sound like something different. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of where I went. I was like, well, I want to do that. I want to use my whammy bar in different ways that no one else did. And then, so he was kind of my guy that I really was more a huge influence on me. And then after him, it was like Knopfler. Because
one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's such an amazing singer, guitar player.
Just a really clean,
so clean,
mellow sound, really relaxing.
Yeah, it's so relaxing. And he played by feel, but he uses all of his fingers, and so did Beck. I still don't. I'm a hybrid picker, so like I'll hold the pick and play with these 3 fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't even use a pick most of the time. They just played without them. But I can't do that. But yeah.
And that just depends on the song, how you play it.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Different feel and tone and whatnot. Well, let's play a song of yours. This is off your latest, Straight and Narrow. I want to play Load You Bear, and we have some special guests on this one.
Yeah.
To tell us about Load You Bear.
Well, so Load You Bear was, that was actually the last song that I wrote for Straight and Narrow. It was kind of I wanted to do one more song, and I had this drum. I came up with this drum beat for it, and I was like, "This is such a great groove." And then I wrote the bass line and the guitar part, and then after I did that, I was like, "Okay, I can't just be the only person on this song. I can sing the falsetto, but I was like, I'm not a very good falsetto singer, so I couldn't go for the higher falsetto. Mm-hmm. And I'd already had Hazel come in on Hurt on Me. So I reached out to her. I'm like, do you want to be on
Denver's own Hazel Miller, of course.
Yeah, Hazel Miller. Wonderful, wonderful lady.
How do you run into
her?
Hazel Miller and do a song
bar.
with her?
You randomly meet her in a karaoke bar.
That's awesome.
Yeah, in Morrison, she was hosting a karaoke for Sunday night. I just happened to be off on a Sunday night. My wife and I decided to go to Dazzle for their brunch on Sundays, which is amazing, and they have amazing musicians, and it's just like, it's an amazing experience. Anyway, we did that one day, and then after that was over, we were like, well, let's not just be the end. Let's go randomly to Morrison. That's where I live, in Morrison. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the Holiday Bar for their karaoke. She just happened to be doing it, and I got up and sang. What did I sing? I think I got up and sang Bittersweet.
Of course. Big Head Todd.
Just for fun.
Where we all kind of were introduced to her.
Yeah. Yep. And she introduced herself and was like, I need to meet you. And I was like, love to meet you too. And she goes, and I want to sing with you. And I was like, let's do it. So we did Fever together. And after that, we had a long conversation. She gave me her number. She's one of these kind of people that's just like, anything I can ever do for you, let me know. She's tried to get me all these gigs. She's like, you need to go to this place. You need to do this. You need to do that. And she was just opens her arms to you. I mean, and she does it for everybody, not just me. She's just so philanthropic. It's crazy. But,
I met her once, and just the kindest person
she's so nice.
I've met.
Yeah.
She just got off stage and was talking to people like.
Yeah. No,
and
another thing that's just crazy is she knows names.
Yeah.
Like everybody's name. If you meet her and you give her your name, she remembers your name.
Wow.
It's insane.
It's pretty sharp.
It's unbelievable. Anyway, so I wrote her and I was like, do you want to be on one more song? And she's like, yeah. And then she came over and she did it.
And it was Load You Bear.
It was no big deal. Load You Bear.
All right. Let's get to it. This is Colorado's own Josh Blackburn with Hazel Miller and Load You Bear on K4CO.
Fortune card is flipped, I paid the toll. Ah, come with me, I know the way. Your flesh so sweet, I've come to play. Load You Bear is me. Call me your baby. The Load You Bear I see is hardly your favorite. Oh, I'm gonna change fulfill your life with all your dreams. The Lord who bears peace, call me your baby. The Lord who bears peace, tell me I'm crazy. The Lord who bears peace, don't make this painful. The Lord you bear, I see, can be quite playful. We could run, we could laugh, we could open up, we could fly, we could lay underneath the sheet. Call me your baby. Call me your baby. Call me your baby. Yes, you can. Call me your baby. Please, please. Call me yours. Call me your baby. Call me yours. I want you to call me your baby. Call me yours. Yeah, well, call me yours. Lord, you marries me. Call me your baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. Call me.
Colorado's own Josh Blackburn with Load You Bear. A little help from Hazel Miller. Your voices go very well together. That came out excellent.
I think we should do stuff. We
Yeah,
should do
just do
so
a
much
whole
stuff.
record together.
We should.
Now-
I think I'll ask her that. Like, especially on my next one, if I, when I do another one, we can talk about that. But, I will always ask her.
Yeah,
Because I do feel the same way. Like, I feel like our voices just fit
it does. It really
together
does.
just really well.
Now, on a handful of your songs, you put this tail on the end of it. And normally I'll just kind of fade that out, go to the next song when I'm playing you. But I wanted to let that play out because I want to know why you do this to so many of your songs. What is behind that?
I think it has a lot to do with Pink Floyd. It has a lot to do with concept albums and my albums are definitely not concept albums, but I like to flow of an album in its entirety.
Yeah.
So if you're going to listen to it, why not? make it to where, you know, you have some sound that goes from one part into like a glue
To kind of go
that
into
just
the
glues
next
them
song.
all into together.
Right.
And that way, that if you don't listen to it and you chop it up, then it doesn't make any sense.
Right. And
it's just like, why? What is this last part? But you won't know unless you actually listen to the whole record.
Which we've gotten away from
Totally
due
gotten
to
away
streaming and whatnot.
from. Yeah,
Which is a shame. But,
it is a shame.
do you have a specific approach to your songwriting? How do you write a song?
Oh man, you know that's.
I'm sure it depends on the song.
Well, it depends on the song. It depends on. There's a lot of factors for me because I'm a Cancer and I worry all the time about everything. So like I like to be busy, like as far as working, which is a conundrum to like writing, because when I'm writing, I don't need to be working as much as I do. So as far as when I'm not as busy, I tend to, if I force myself to go down into my studio and I pick up a guitar and I just start fiddling, then sometimes it'll come.
Kind of gets the ball rolling.
It does. It gets the ball rolling.
Start with the guitar, or do you sometimes lyrics come into your mind? And
Never.
Never lyrics first?
I always paint the canvas before and then I put the lyrics to the canvas. So like, it's always, I will write a song, I will finish it in its entirety except for vocals. And then I will listen to it in my car over and over and over again until I figure out what's the story behind this song. What's the story behind the music to this? And I do that. That's how I've always done it. That's how I always do it probably. Never ever like, this is a great line, or like, I'm going to write that down.
And then write
around it. I've never done that.
Okay.
That's why it makes it really hard for me to write with other people, I think, because I don't write like that.
As far as collaboration?
Yeah, as far as collaborations, I just have to, it has to be something that I've kind of come up with, and then I have to write the story around the music.
So you're more of you're clearly a self-sufficient musician. I mean, as far as your gigging, you're what's known as a looping
Yes.
guitarist.
Yeah.
Explain that to anyone that hasn't heard of that.
It's more of a you're basically recording yourself as you go, and you start with like a drum beat, and some people use their mouth and like that kind of thing, but I hit my guitar instead, which is not really good for your guitar, but that's how I like to do it.
So you're right at the beginning of the song, you're creating the bass line, the drum line, the foundation of it.
Yeah, and then texturing, which is that's kind of like my secret weapon is I use a lot of reverbs and delays and use that. That's kind of towards the final end of the loop section. Like, so I'll start with drums, bass, guitar, and then I'll put the textures on top, which kind of gives it a spacey element. And then it makes it sound like it's more than one person up there playing. Mm-hmm. And and then I'll sing on top of that usually, and then I'll record start with like the verse or like the verse, and then when I get to the chorus, I'll record the chorus, and then the next time I get to the chorus, I'll loop on top of that.
Sounds like a lot of moving parts.
There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of tap dancing. Some people will literally sit at the table in front of me so they can just watch my feet.
Watch what you're doing. Yeah, no, it's interesting. I've watched a lot of those guys, and you're definitely nailing it. I would say that. As opposed to playing with a band, which you do in studio, as far as Dirty Bird and Straight and Narrow, did you play with a band on those recording those records, or was that all you?
It's all me.
Oh, okay.
I programmed the drums, played the bass, played the keys, played all the strings, all that stuff. I play all that on my keyboard, and then guitars, lead guitars, all that stuff.
And has this always been your formula? When you were younger, did you play in bands?
Mm-hmm. It's always been my formula. As far as my songwriting was concerned, yeah, this has always been the way I've done it. I've just done it by myself. I need to try and collaborate more with other people, because I think it would expand my process, because my process it's kind of like when it comes to me, it comes to me, and it's time. And it takes me like, for the most part, like 2 weeks to, like Dirty Bird took 2 weeks to write, and I wrote the whole thing in like 2 weeks, and then did the artwork, and that took like 5 months.
So, longer than the right thing.
Yeah. It seems like the artwork takes longer, except for, I will say that Straight and Narrow was very much I took a long time with that album.
Yeah, I think it's like 5 or 6 years in between the two.
Yeah, it was a long time between that. But as far as like when I started my writing process,
Straight and Narrow.
Yeah, the Straight and Narrow, the album took me, I think I actually took about 6 months writing that album.
Oh, okay.
Which is a long time for me to do, because usually I'm in and I do it fast.
And did you record it as you wrote it, or did you write the whole thing first and then go in?
No, I wrote it as I recorded.
Okay.
That's kind of how I do it.
Right.
That's kind of like my process. I write one song and then I'm like, if it's good enough, I'm like, oh, I need to do an album for the song, which the song for Straight and Narrow was Remember I Said. I wrote that song and I was like, I love this song. I was like, I've got to write an album around this song. Mm-hmm. And then that was kind of how I did it.
It's a great album too. I mean, even your approach to your cover songs are really well done.
Thank you very much.
There's quite a difference between the two records.
Yeah.
Dirty Bird is much darker than Straight and Narrow. Is that having something to do with your life personally?
No. No, it was more of a Dirty Bird was, I wanted to do something completely different than I've ever done. And I think that I wanted to do electric guitars, and I had a propensity to go towards acoustics and write on an acoustic and then that way. But with Dirty Bird, I was like, I'm going to start on electric. And I wrote, I think the first song for Dirty Bird was, what's that song? Number 2.
I can look it up for you here.
Oh, shoot.
In a Moment?
No, not In a Moment.
Dirty Bird, Break It Down.
Break It Down.
Okay.
Break It Down was the first song I wrote. And I was like, oh, this is so heavy. And I'm like, I want to do a heavy album. And that was it. That's what kind of got me into it.
I like it a lot. It's a great record. I like them both, but I mean, as far as working here, I've been drawn
towards that
record a little bit more, and it does have some energy and crunch to it.
It does.
And I want to play In a Moment.
Yeah, well, which is about James Holmes and the it's about the shooting.
Okay.
And it's about getting into his brain and how he actually thought in the moment of doing that, and that's what the lyrics are about in that song.
Okay, that's just got a lot darker.
Yeah, it's a very dark song, but it's in the moment.
Wow.
It's how much can change in a moment that you make, and that in that song, that was what that was about, was him making that decision to go into that theater and do that.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy. Okay, well, let's play In a Moment from Colorado's own Josh Blackburn.
Picture this, if you will, a comic boy with a killer thrill. World of hate, a scream for help, a book of knowledge on an empty shelf. Is it for right? Is it for self? To concentrate on the sorrow felt in his head, on the dread, all this bled, all this vomit.
in a moment from Josh Blackburn. And if you're just tuning in, Josh Blackburn has joined us in studio today. We're getting to know him a little bit. I want to go back to being in a band and just being a solo looping guitarist. You do play with a band.
I do.
Off air, you mentioned.
Well, we play very seldomly, but we do play.
But you do have a group of guys
We
that
do.
you can like, hey, let's like you just mentioned off air. Can we announce it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a ways out.
It's a ways out,
go
but
ahead.
I just booked the Buffalo Rose for the Friday after Thanksgiving for the band.
Excellent.
Josh Blackburn band to play. And we'll be putting that out on social media and everything, but it just happened like an hour ago. So
Oh, wow. Exciting.
Yeah.
Now, not playing with a band constantly, there's a convenience about it.
there is a convenience.
Because
Well,
you don't have to see if everyone's on board to be here at this time for that
Right.
gig, get everybody on the same page. And you are super busy. You play 4 nights a week, sometimes 7 shows in a week, correct?
usually 5 shows a week. I mean, like 5 nights a week, 7 shows
Sometimes
a week.
two shows on a Saturday sometimes. Or
2 shows Saturday, 2 shows Sunday. Just depends.
And you can find his schedule. I mean, he is booked. You're a busy guy. You can go to joshblackburn.com. He's got a schedule up there. You're playing tonight at Pint Room. Where is Pint Room?
It's on Bellevue in Littleton.
Oh, okay. That's Old Town Littleton?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, it's right outside of the Old Town Littleton.
Okay. It's kind of in our neighborhood there.
Yeah, it is.
We'll have to come check you out. And you said you're based out of Morris, and I imagine you play up there a lot as well.
You know, I don't play in Morrison that much.
Well, I guess there's not really a lot to play in Morrison.
Not too much. Too much, but
Golden.
yeah.
You play a lot?
I play in Golden. I play all over the, kind of around the Denver metro. Like, let's see. I play Parker, Littleton. I've got a standing gig in Littleton at the Alley every Sunday from 12 to 3, which is
okay.
which is
That's the one I was thinking of.
yeah, that one's great. That's every Sunday fun day. And that's a hell of a good time to come to. Besides that, I play randomly, kind of like all over the Front Range, as far as like, like Westminster, North Glen, Arvada, Golden, Parker. Sometimes I go down the Springs, very rarely, but sometimes.
So just all
Fort
the
Collins,
surrounding
rarely.
areas. Yeah.
Johnstown, a little bit everywhere.
And how do you approach your set list? You do this so often.
You know,
you got to drive yourself nuts a little
well,
bit.
the greatest thing about what I do, it's never the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great for me. It's great for everybody who comes to watch me, because looping is always different. I'm always trying to do something different, make the song. Even if I get bored, I'm going to change it. I'm going to just be like, okay, I'm going to change this to a reggae version of this song, or like,
okay.
or I'm going to do something completely different to, different sounds, during this part, or like, I'm always going to like try to do something to where I leave going, oh, that was cool. That was different. I hope I remember what I did, because like after every song, no matter how cool it is, delete, next song. So,
and that can be dangerous.
yeah, well, it's like
You
you're
can
like,
be
oh,
deleting
that was
something
such a,
incredible.
yeah, I was like, it's such a cool, like, the tempo of that was so much faster than I normally play it, but yet it turned out way cooler. Remember to do that. Note to self. Lots
Right.
of that. Note to self.
So when you're not consumed with all your gigging and songwriting, what does Josh Blackburn do to get away from it all? Or are you just constantly consumed with your living in music?
Honestly, I'm really tired when I'm off. So I don't do much. My wife and I just we do a lot of chilling out.
Yeah.
We not much. We try to go on a vacation once or twice a year, and we both work hard.
Yeah.
So when I'm off, we might go for a hike sometimes, or I work out a lot, and things like that. But I mean, not much. We like to find a good place to eat.
Right.
That's my favorite.
Just enjoy your downtime.
Yeah.
Is there a song of your own that stands out to you? Do you have a swan song of your own that is more meaningful than others?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or even as far as popularity from
popularity
the
wise,
outside.
Round the Bend is probably my live song that everybody wants me to play like at the end because it has a
It's a good closer.
It's a good closer. It's got a great guitar solo that it's just kind of, it's intense. It's a lot. And sometimes fans would like for me to play it in a room where it's just not appropriate.
Not conducive.
You know, it's like, hey, play Round the Bend. Like, no, I'm not playing that song today. But yeah, that one, and I think, and then, that one's special. I don't even know why I think this, but I always think of songs like that. My mom passed about 5 years ago, and I think about songs that were her favorites, and I think that those songs are a lot more special now too, is like, because those were her songs, and like Round the Bend was one of her songs, and so was the one I did when we did Great Day Colorado. One song Start. That one was a special one, and that one's special to me too, because it's written. I wrote that song for my fans and for people like that like what I do, and it's just kind of opens your heart to like say, no matter what I do, I don't feel like I can express the words to make something as special as I want to portray it to you.
Right.
And that's kind of, it's like One Song Start is like every time I write a song, there's got to be another song that I'm starting over to impress you or to make you give you a feeling that does something for you, So like, it seems like I'm always starting over in my writing. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a special song to me too.
That's another great song. Explain the title track to Straight and Narrow.
Well,
what do you want to tell us about that one, if anything?
Well, I mean, like, that song, I got a lot of influence from, like, when I wrote that song, like Santana.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of has a Santana vibe to it.
Yeah, I can hear that.
As far as Straight and Narrow is concerned, it's kind of like, stay on your path. Whatever it might be, you need to stay on your path. That's kind of like what I was going for in this song. It's like, don't overthink it. Just stay on the path.
Yeah. So
it's simple. It was kind of a
self-explanatory.
Simple, yeah, very much so. So, stay on your straight and narrow.
All right. Well, let's have it. This is Straight and Narrow from Josh Blackburn on K4CO.
Straight and narrow. Don't turn back now, you're on a roll. No music plays, just feel the flow. You can't stop now, it don't seem right. I think this path could go all night. No time to talk or pay the toll. You're on the straight and narrow, yeah. the top and rev up the show. You're on the straight and narrow. You frustrate and assimilate all the thoughts that you try not to hate. Get on the train, come on, let's go through the straight and narrow. You're better off playing through your feelings. You hold your own and don't give up the fight. Take it back. Control your rage. Leave that blood out on the stage.
Colorado's own Josh Blackburn. Thanks again for joining us today, Josh. Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
I want to talk about your voice. I want to draw a little attention to that.
Okay.
Speaking to you, I'm not getting the same guy.
No, right.
So when did you find your voice? I know you said earlier you can't hit those highs that Hazel's hitting, but you have this low end to your voice that really works well with your music.
Yeah. It's funny. I never planned on being a singer.
Okay.
It wasn't I was a guitar player. I've always, and to this day, I'm like, if someone famous called me and said, "Hey, we want you to be our guitar player," I'd be like, "Yep, I'm in."
Somebody wants to take over.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to sing anymore. I'm good. I could never sing another note in my life and I'll be good.
Wow.
But, I was a huge Crash Test Dummies fan growing up.
Okay.
Huge.
Yeah.
Like God Shuffled His Feet. I wore it out.
Yeah,
like
I did too. I like that
three.
record.
I think I bought that record. I bought the CD 3 times and I wore it out 3 times.
Wow.
I loved it. And I love the way he was I loved his songwriting. He was a big influence on my songwriting because he wrote in prose and he wrote like the weirdest, quirky, like it was like everything was a story with that guy.
Yeah.
And he, they still tour. I shouldn't say it like he's in the past or anything, but yeah. So that's kind of how I got my storytelling songwriting as well. That's where that comes from. But that was kind of where I went with it. Was like I was like, well, if he sings low, I mean, I guess if I start low, I don't have to go high because I've never had a vocal lesson or anything like that, so I don't know much about that.
So it just came naturally to you. You just started singing, kind of like the guitar singing along to your favorite record or a Crash Test Dummies record, and
just
started
sang
to
to
develop it that way.
Sang to that and Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
So it was kind of got a cross between the Crash Test Dummies dude and Pearl Jam.
Have you heard the new Pearl Jam?
I have.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Very well done.
Very good. I like it.
They never disappoint.
No,
Who do you listen to these days?
That's I when I listen to music, which I don't listen to music.
I was gonna say because you
very
are
much.
saturated. Your life's saturated in music.
It really is. So like I do not listen to much music, but I do still support. like, yeah, Pearl Jam puts out a new album, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll listen to it. I'll buy it.
Definitely.
Yeah. I saw that David Gilmour's got an album coming out September 8th, something like that.
Nice. I just got the chills. I didn't hear that.
You didn't hear that?
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. He just put it out there. So David Gilmour's got a new album coming out in September. I'm like, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, you know, I'm when I do listen to music, like when my wife and I go like to Mexico or the beach or something like that, I love to listen to like Steely Dan. Big fan of Steely Dan.
Yeah.
I still listen to Jeff Beck and Radiohead and a lot of you know, newer stuff. Nathaniel Rateliff. Love Nathaniel Rateliff. The song "What Would You Think" was very inspired by Nathaniel Rateliff. I like his horns and the big sound he gets in his songwriting. He's such an amazing songwriter.
Yeah.
I don't know. Besides the, you know, like I said, I don't listen to too much music, but when I do, those Pearl Jam,
A lot of the classics that are just known for being great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love yacht rock. Big
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
Big fan.
I'll play some of it. It's mellow.
I like
Puts
mellow.
you in a mood. Yeah.
It does. I like music that makes you happy. That's yeah, for sure.
So would you say you listen to a lot of music that's not your style?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Like I was going to say that. I mean, as far as like my songwriting compared to the type of music that I listen to, they're completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what just gives you a wide range of as a songwriter, I would think.
Yeah. Well, and it's also the appreciation for, especially like Steely Dan, is like the appreciation of listening to music and songwriting that I cannot ever technically do.
Yeah.
Because it's just so
yeah.
technical.
Yeah.
And so fun. Like Yes, and I love Yes, and I love like bands that are really technical.
Progressive bands, me too. I like them a lot.
Yeah, big progressive fan, for sure.
What would you say, let's pick a favorite moment or one of your greatest achievements in your musical career. Does something stand out? A show or anything big, anything that stands out to you that just was a favorite moment that left you feeling, I love doing this?
Oh, gosh.
Or is it just the fact that you do it for a living?
Well, I mean, of course, that's, you know, I
mean, that's pretty big.
I am so lucky to be able to do what I do and play as much as I play. And like, I am so fortunate, you know. Gosh, that's a hard question. I mean, there's so many moments that, you know, you have in life that, my CD, all of my CD release parties that I've had that have been, I mean, they're small and quaint, but yet it just shows how much support there is.
Garners all that
people.
attention.
And like, I mean, like, I don't know. That's so hard. The first time our band played at the Soiled Dove together was so special. You know, I don't know. That's such an interesting question.
I stumped him.
You did, because I really don't know. Like, as far as my musical career, it's just...
Well, I think just the fact that you've made it to professionalism, that's an achievement in its own. I mean, so many people are doing this, you know, and going to a job the next day that they're not happy with, you know, after playing a gig until midnight or whatnot.
Yeah.
And the fact that you get to do this on your own, when you want, where you want.
Yeah.
I mean, that's admirable.
Yeah. It really, like I said, I can't be any luckier to play as much as I play and have the security that I have as far as staying as busy as I stay, and just doing the best I can out there, trying to work as much as I possibly can.
Yeah. And you are working a lot. You're a busy guy. What do you got coming up? Again, tonight,
Pint Room. Tomorrow, Golden Mill. Friday, Reavers. Saturday, Brooks Place Tavern, 1 to 4. Sunday,
Sunday's
the Alley.
your fun day at the Alley.
Sunday, fun day at
Sunday.
the Alley, 12 to 3.
All right, I'm going to have to come to see you on a Sunday one of these
You'll
days.
have to come to that for sure.
Because that's right around the corner.
There you go.
Really want to thank you again for being here.
Thanks for
before
having
we go, I don't want to leave anything on the table before we say goodbye. Did we cover all the bases here? Anything?
Yeah.
All right, good. I mentioned your covers earlier and just your approach to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good when someone's creative, a musician, an artist is creative about something that's already been created, putting it in their own way. And you're taking a very common song, something everyone has probably heard in their life, with My Way.
Yeah.
What made you decide to cover that one?
I was on my way home from playing at the Tailgate Tavern on a Saturday afternoon, and they came on randomly on a Sirius radio on something, and it was somebody else's version, and I was like, I want to do this song. Can I do this song? Then I came home and asked my wife, I was like, do you think I could do My Way? She's like, I think so. And so I was like, I'm going to try, and gave it a shot. And that song was special because I had a guy, Tom Capek at Colorado Sound.
Friend of ours.
Is he a friend of yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a wonderful guy, and he's such a talented musician.
Yes.
And I showed him my arrangement, and I'm like, I really think I need your help with my strings because I don't know if my string arrangements were good enough. And he listened to him, and he go, in a very nice way, was like, well, I mean, from a guitar player standpoint, they're very good. But from an actual orchestra standpoint, I could really help you with this.
Okay,
So-
I didn't know he was doing this.
Yeah,
on
so
that
he
song.
helped
That's
me
good to
with
know.
my string arrangements on My Way.
Okay.
I went into Colorado Sound, and we spent a week creating the strings for this song. So it was a big ordeal, and then that was how I got to know him. He plays in the Josh Blackburn band. He plays keys for me, and he's going to be there on Friday. He just confirmed to me on my drive here today. So
Small world, man.
yeah,
That's awesome.
no, totally. Tom's amazing.
Yeah, he really is. All right, and you can tell that there was a lot of work put into this cover of My Way. We'd like to have you back. Before I say goodbye, we'd love to have you back. Bring your guitar.
I will next time.
when
Absolutely.
After your busy summer, it would be great to have you back in.
I would
here.
love to come back in.
Thank you, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Josh Blackburn. We're going to leave with his cover of My Way. Josh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway, yeah, and more, much more than this. Yeah, I did it my regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do, and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, yeah, and more, much more than this. Yeah, I did it my way, yeah. loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing. And now, yes, tears subside,